Hi there, it's Wade McMaster here. I've got a video here for you today. We're basically going to be taking a look at 3 free WordPress themes you can use and how to basically edit them and to get your WordPress website looking the way you want. Now, one of the reasons I want to do this is because a lot of people are starting WordPress websites, and if you're on my email list and watching this video, you might be a part of the course we're going through, and it just helps you to understand how to edit any free WordPress theme in general. But one thing is sure, they're all different and they all have their own features, but this will just help you sort of get an idea. So first of all, this little dummy site I've put together it has just the default WordPress theme 2017, which is a little bit of a funny one. It's playing up a bit at the moment because of a plugin I have, but that's all good. Just ignore that for now. So nothing special. I've got a few pages of information, just dummy text, just so that way you can sort of see how it would look on your website if you were to have your own information and that sort of thing. So the first thing I'm going to do before we get too stuck into it, I've got a series of images. I'm going to upload them all. I think I've uploaded a lot of them before, but I'm just going to go into here. And these are just a bunch of images I've got lined up for this video. And just to show you how you can, for one, you can upload all your images up front. So we're going to just do that first. Okay, so just jump forward there a little bit and you can see all these images are now uploaded. So basically these are all the images I'm going to use to basically let's have a play with the design and see what we can get out of these themes. Now, the first theme I'm going to use is actually the default 2017 theme. So we're actually not going to be going too far from home here. This is just the one that comes with WordPress. If you don't have it, you can simply go up to Add New and search for 2017, and I'll show you where to find the other ones next under here. But basically, this is it. We're ready to get started. So I can either go down to Customize here, or if I've got the Themes panel open, I can click the Customize button just here. You see it here, like my website name is Flayed Industries, so that's popped up there. And basically, anytime you're editing a theme, you're going to be using a customized feature similar to this in most aspects. So basically, we're going to go down to site identity. I've got everything I need here. I've got my name, title. That's sort of a general WordPress setting. You don't have to worry about that too much with your theme. Once you set it up, it'll just be the same until you go back and change it again. But under colors here, this is where we have a few options. So you can see if I scroll down here, we've got a pretty basic sort of background. And if I want, I can actually change it to dark and get this nice dark background with white text if you're looking for something a little bit different. Or custom, I can choose some other color, red. You see we've got like red text. This, when you change this, it pretty much just changes the text of sort of like the little bits and pieces of information, but usually against a white background. So I'm just going to stick with a light. We might come back to that in a minute. The main thing that's going to leave the most impact is the header media here. So basically, this image is just the standard image that comes with. I'm actually going to add a new image in there. So I've got my image library here, and I'm just going to pick something. I might pick, say, this one here. I might move that down, crop the image. I've used this image before in my videos as a bit of a staple for this particular design I'm working with. So you've got like this nice image here you can use. You can find an image online. But another cool thing about this is you can actually enter a YouTube video here. So if I go over to YouTube, and say I look for a scenery loop, something like that. Maybe just something like this. Oops, I actually copy, you'll see this here. If I copy this address, copy, head back to the website and paste it in. You see you can actually have a YouTube video on the background of the header of your site. So that's, if you do have a video on YouTube that would be suitable, this is a really good idea, but otherwise, I tend to think an image is better just because it's less distracting and it doesn't take as long to load, but that's just showing you what you're capable of getting on your website. So let's just get rid of that. Look at our background image. So this image is going to be leaving the most impact on people as they visit. So I'm just going to leave that there for now. And as you see, if I go back to colors, if you don't like the white, you can see how it looks against the dark. I might actually even leave that there because it doesn't look too bad. And we've got our menus. So here you've got a few, like they're very basic sort of settings. So there's not a lot that you can change. You can change, for example, if you have different pages here, you can actually insert certain sections. Like maybe I want my blog section to be in here, so I'll add the blog. And it's actually got my latest blog posts on that page. Maybe I want to have the About Us on the second one. So actually, if you have pages hidden from your menu, you can actually have them in certain areas of your website down the bottom in these areas. Another thing you can do is at the moment we have the page title and information down the right. I can change that to a single column, so everything just goes straight down. So there's a few little settings you can play with there. This is probably the most basic theme we're going to look at today. The next one's going to be a little bit more advanced, but a little bit different. I'm just going to select a logo here. Now with the 2017, you can't actually get a full logo to replace this text, just a little logo that sits off to the right. So I've got a little PNG here with a circle. Crop that image. And you see now we've got that there. It's just like a little F logo. And our site's basically customized using the 2017 theme. So if I publish that, and there's one thing I've just noticed here is that the menus don't seem to want to show up on here. So you notice that no menus are actually created. So maybe if I create a new menu, and I choose to make that the top menu, I can actually add my pages in there, home, about, blog, publish, and now we actually have a menu here we can use. Okay, so I'm just going to exit this and just take a look at the website itself. So now I'm out in WordPress, and this is how the website's looking. It's a bit different. It's not necessarily a good design, but if what you have in mind might suit depending on what you're looking at. You see I've got our little navigation at the top, our pages, and I can go to the little About Us page we put together. See how that looks, the blog. And you see here we've got this sidebar. Now what I've actually got an image for this sidebar, because one thing that if anyone lands on a page on your website as opposed to your main page, they're going to see this sidebar. So I'm actually going to go in under widgets, and I'm going to customize this sidebar. Now, in any theme you're using, you do want to do this because you do want a custom sidebar. You don't want just the basics on there. It's really good to have something there, maybe a call to action. I'm going to put a search and a list of pages, but I've also got an image. I've actually got a video on my channel, I'll link to it below, where you can create an image for your sidebar and insert it into WordPress. But for now, I've already got an image, so I'm just going to quickly grab the image module, add my image, which is this one here. If I want, I can create a link to another page in there, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Just going to save that. Maybe I'll just put a hashtag in there. Okay, so now if I head back out to the website, maybe I'll head to the blog. We now have this image here. There's a bit of a call to action, list of pages, and that's basically the design for the 2017. So you'll see here this on these extra pages, this header is not full screen. I'll go to the About Us page. It's not full screen, but it is on the home page. So it acts as a bit of like an attention grabbing image on the home page, but sort of minimizes on the other pages. So I've actually got another theme for you, which I prefer a lot more, and it's actually very popular as well. So I'm just going to head back into the dashboard. And once again, we're going to go to Appearance and Themes. This is how you add other free themes to your website. So I go up here, click Add New, and I have a whole list of themes here I can search through. These are all the current featured themes. But what I'm actually going to go for is a theme called Baskerville. It's Baskerville. That's it, Baskerville right here. I'm actually going to install that. And then I'm going to activate it. So now we're going to have a look at Baskerville, and we're going to basically edit that to get this theme looking the way we want. So this is it's a little bit more of a professional theme. If you do have if you're starting a professional website, you want to look clean cut, this is actually a pretty good theme to start with. So if I head back out, you'll see we've got our basic theme here. It's nothing super special at the moment. It's just a basic sort of look. Now there is something that's bugging me, is that this image isn't full width. So I'm just going to quickly go in here to widgets, sidebar, image. We've got the medium. I'll go full size, update. You head back out. Wait, save. So head back out. Now I want to, obviously, I don't want this to look just like every other Baskerville themed website out there. But you can see we've got our sidebar here, got a bit of information. So this is basically our home page. So what we're going to do is, once again, we're going to go to Customize, which is just up here. And we're just going to run down the same sort of settings that were in the last theme, except the ones that are unique to this theme. And you see we've got a little mobile menu there for this one. So obviously once we're out of the customizer, this will go back to actually having the items on it. So as before, you got your site identity, which is pretty straightforward. Your colors, you can actually change the background color of the website if you want to. It's obviously a little bit full on, so maybe we'll go for a bit of a light, maybe a bit of a brown, that sort of thing. So you can choose any background color you want to go in here. Pretty straightforward. Now under logo here, you can add in, got a few images here. If I add this one in here, it's just a square image, and it doesn't necessarily look good, but if you have a square logo, that could work quite fine. I do recommend using a transparent PNG. So if you know anything about images, that should be pretty straightforward. Otherwise, you can, if you sign up for Canva Pro, you can actually create images and save them as PNGs, a PNG file with a transparent background. So I'm going to change that to this here, which is a transparent version of my logo, Flayed Industries. So now we've actually got our own logo at the top, custom background color, and we're starting to sort of get things looking the way we want them. So what I'm going to do here now is this background image. Once again, I can choose the same image I had before. Maybe I want to crop that down a bit lower. And there you can see we've got our own image at the top. Things are starting to take shape a little bit differently. So the good thing about themes like this is you can really use imagery to customize and get it looking the way you want. Now, where we had this background color before, we can actually use a background image. So if I go in here to select image, I can choose this sort of card background. I can choose a bit of a wood texture. Or I could even go for something a bit more full on, like a full-on scene, just so it looks a bit richer again. So once again, if you're good at playing with images and that sort of thing, this can really be a powerful way to get the website looking different than just your standard. So I'm going to go with this little wood texture I've got here, because it kind of matches the effect of my main image. And I can actually change a few things. I can change the position of the background image if I want to, which with this particular image isn't going to look much different, but you can align it to the top or the bottom, center. You can have it fit the screen or fill the screen, that sort of thing. Something that's worth playing with. You can actually, at the moment, the image scrolls with the page. If I turn that off, the image will stay still. Once again, you can't really tell, but you can see here, this bit here just stays still as I scroll. So these are the main options here. There's once again, you got back to your standard menus, your widgets, just your usual settings that you have with your WordPress website. So once again, that is just another basic theme that you can play with and get a nice effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to publish that and take a look. So with Baskerville, you can see how easily you can add an image at the top, a background image, and get a website which actually looks a little bit more unique. The cool thing about this Baskerville theme also is that if you have a featured image, I'll go on to blog. So this is our blog here. You see we've got 3 blog posts there. If I actually click on this particular one here, because I have a featured image, I get this nice title, image to separate it between the text, and you get a pretty nice look. So it's quite easy to get like a pretty visual looking website with a theme like Baskerville. It's once again, another simple theme, but really powerful if you've got a few good images on hand to use. Now I do have one more theme I'm going to go through very quickly for you. It's called Sydney. It's got a lot more options, a lot more customizable, And I'm not sure if I'm going to have time to really go through absolutely every single one, but we'll give you an idea of what to expect. So if you're really looking to really customize your theme, add a new theme. This one could be another one for you to check out. Now, I do recommend if you are looking to get your website looking exactly the way you want, I highly recommend checking out the Divi theme, which I'll put a link up on the screen right now. The Divi theme is what I use for the majority of my websites. You can completely customize every tiny piece, and I'll also put a link below showing you a bit of a walkthrough so you can see what you can do with the Divi theme. Actually have a walkthrough on how you can build pages and that sort of thing. But for now, we're going to focus on the Sydney theme. So if I install that, you want to make sure, so we've got two, we've got Hotel Sydney and Sydney. We want to go just with Sydney, install that one. Then we're going to activate it. So now if I go back out to the website, you see we've got this pretty basic sort of layout. It's got like a full screen slideshow, and then you scroll down. Here's your content, sidebar, search. Same sort of idea as before. If we go to a smaller About Us page, we just have a standard header and then our information. So this is another theme which you can actually play around with a lot. Now I'm going to head into Customize again. Like as before, any theme you get, most of your options are going to be under Customize, but sometimes they do have their own panel in the dashboard. But for this particular theme, just under Customize. You see we've got a lot more options here. As before, your general options are actually you get your site title, tagline, that sort of thing. But right here you have some options: page wrapper, top and bottom padding. I don't really recommend playing with this too much because what happens is it just changes the space between the image here and the text. So if I change that to 5, it's really close. If I change that to 600, it's really far. So, but you can, if you're not happy with the spacing, you can make it something more appropriate. I'm just going to make it 50 and 50, just so that way you get everything sort of nicely tightly wound together. But this is once again the tablet version of the page because of the smaller window size. Now back under site title and tagline, you do have the option here to upload your own logo. So I'm going to once again choose that transparent PNG just because they're best for use in logos because it doesn't matter what's behind them. If you've got a transparent background, the logo will just sit above it. So I've got this transparent PNG here. So I've got my logo here. And I can choose a side icon if I want to. Maybe I want to choose that F, and this will actually create like a little app icon. It'll also add the logo. If I scroll down here for a sec, you see it gets added at the top here in this tab. So that's a good way to customize your basic logo and look. So just going to dart back a bit. Now this is where you play with the header area. This is where you're going to have probably the most impact to anyone who lands on your site for the first time. And you see here on the front page we have the full screen slider, and on the other pages we have the other options here. So I'm going to leave the slider on the front page, but basically I can have these pages looking the same if I want to. By choosing the slider on this secondary page, it's just going to have the same effect as the home page. Or I could choose to have an image, a video, which I have to actually go and set up, or no header at all. So it's just basically the color with the header. So if I zoom out a little bit, you'll see that we've got just a standard header up the top there with no background. So for now, we're going to actually use the image. I'm going to head back. You've got here header media. So you can see here the image here and there. So what I want to do is I actually want to add a new image for the background header. Once again, I can use this one. You'll see we've got that in the background. You'll also notice there's like a bit of an overlay. Now I can disable that overlay because it darkens the image. I can just turn that off. And the image is there full strength. I personally think it looks a little bit better that way. Now you might think this is a little bit tall, so you can actually change the height. Let's say change it to 180. Now the whole header is actually shorter. So you've got a few options there to customize this header. You can get it as high or as tall or as short as you want. You can make it rather tall if you want to, like 800, which looks a bit ridiculous. But you sort of get the idea. You get a few options to further customize your heading. And you can also choose a few different background options, such as contain, which actually contains the full image so that nothing gets cut off, or cover, which actually makes the image a size that covers the entire area, which generally looks better. Now, if I wanted to use a video image, I'm actually going to, once again, copy this YouTube video address, paste it in there. So now I've got a background image and a background video. So if I head back, go back to header type and choose video, you'll see it loading up. And now I have a background video as my header. So you have a few options there. You can actually have a video background on this one as well, as we did on the last site. But I'm just going to switch that back to image for now because I believe it sort of looks the best. Now, if I go to the home page, we've got this slider here. Now you can choose to turn the slider off on the home page if you want and just have your image if you're not interested in having a slider. But it can be quite handy to send people to certain pages on your website. So I'm going to head to the header slider here. You can see we've got a couple of slides. So I'm going to change some of these images around. I'm going to say pick this one, maybe that one. You see third slide, second slide, first slide, they've each got their own image, title and subtitle, image, title and subtitle. You can just simply go through and add in what you want. So see here we've got welcome to Sydney. I can change that to ready to take the leap, maybe something like that. And you'll see when we get back around, that text is now changed. So you can actually get it looking, put your own imagery in there, put your own text in there and get it looking sort of the way you want, just displaying the imagery and getting it linked up to where you want it to. Now, there's a call to action button here. So you can actually make this, send this to a certain page on your website. So if you wanted to go to Facebook, for instance, which you probably don't want to necessarily, you can send it off to facebook.com and that button will send it off to there. Maybe you want to send it to a contact page on your website. So you put the address of your contact page on there, that sort of thing. So you can act as a pretty strong call to action. So that's more or less the header settings for this particular theme. You can change this, the way this is arranged too. You can change it from inline to centered. So now the logo's in the middle, text options are underneath, or you can change it to, if I go to another page, maybe I'll go to the About Us page. You'll see here when I scroll down that the header follows. If I don't want that, I can change that to static, and it just simply scrolls away with the rest of it. So you get a few options there with your header to get it looking pretty good. But once again, the right logo, the right image is going to make definitely a bit of an impact. So you do have some options there. You can actually get quite a fair bit done with this theme, without actually having to go too far. So there's a few more options here, like your blog layout. If I go to the blog here, not really sure what to expect here, but at the moment it's got the classic, alternative. If I change that to classic, now the image is at the top. Full width with no sidebar, or the grid style blog layout. So you've got a few options there to customize the way your blog looks. And you've got a few different options. Display the full content of the page. You don't necessarily want to do that. Change the length. So I won't go through all of these options, but you get an idea of the fact that you can actually customize the look of your blog itself. It's actually pretty cool. Now here, the fonts. What you can do, if you know what fonts you want to use, you can actually go to Google Fonts and find sort of the codes for these. Now this is probably more of an advanced feature, probably not something beginners would want to play with, but if you understand, you want to be able to change the font size, like maybe you want to change its heading size. This would be a heading 2, I'm thinking. Maybe not. So we'll say make that 90. Make the H1 size 90. So one of these heading sizes is basically going to be the or not. But anyway, you get the idea. So if I click in here now, you'll see this has a really big header. It should do. Single post title, there we are. So change that to 90. You can make it as big as you want. So you have a bit of a play with these, and you can sort of find the information you want. So you can make this as big or as little as you want. So you can control over the font, the text size. If you understand the basically getting the name of the fonts and that in here, it's not too difficult to learn, but at this stage you're probably better off. The font that comes with it is actually pretty neat anyway. You can change how many footer columns. I haven't got any footer widgets in here, but you can choose to have one footer widget, or 2, 3, or 4, and basically go through and make changes to the colors. You see the buttons here are red. I can change that to a blue or even black. The body text is a bit of a blue color. Maybe I want to make that gray. The menu background, we can also make that red. We're starting to go a bit, not starting to look not too good at the moment, but you get the idea. So you can simply go through and change so many elements of your theme just by going through and exploring. That red hover color can become yellow. So it's not too hard to really customize it. So that just gives you an idea of how you can get started anyway. So those 3 themes are actually free on the WordPress. Basically, if you just search for them under the Add New section there under Themes, you can find these themes and customize them to get the website looking the way you want. So it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of spending your time going into that Customize menu. So once again, if you're on your website, you can go up the top here to Customize, or if you're in your dashboard, head down here to Appearance, Customize, and from there you can go through and edit and get things looking the way you want. So you see here there's actually a few other little options there, but we won't go into that now because it just gives you an idea. Any theme you want to try, it'll work the same way. So if you want to add a different theme, I'm not going to go through the whole exercise again, but let's say we want to add a new theme. So if you choose any one of these themes and you like the look of it, you can simply install, activate it, head over to your customize section and have a bit of a play and see what you can get. So it's a good way to tinker around and sort of get the website looking the way you want if you can't afford to get a premium theme or pay a web designer. I still recommend eventually going for a premium theme or paying a web designer, just because you're going to get far better results. They'll be able to bring certain bits of information to the table that allow you to make your design more effective, so you get better results from your visitors and that sort of thing, better traffic, and it'll just work better in the long run. But for now, when you're getting started, these sorts of themes are perfect. So I hope you found that video useful. If you did and you want more videos like this, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button below, or the bell icon to be notified when new videos come out. And if there's any questions, leave a comment below and I'll see you next time.